and welcome to part 2 of this crazy theater road trip that I'm currently on. I am about halfway on a trip from Colorado to New York. Currently, I just saw a show last night in Cincinnati, spent the night at a rest stop in Kentucky, and today we are heading further in Kentucky to, 1, go do some caving, and 2, go see some theater, of course. The plan today is to spend the day in Kentucky. I'm meeting up with a friend to go see the tour of Water for Elephants tonight. But before I do that, I am going to go to the Hidden River Cave, an American cave museum, because they have an exhibit on the one, the only damn crazy cave-in fool himself, Floyd Collins. Very, very, very excited to go check that out. That will probably not be the only cave on this trip. And then tonight, I'm going to try to drive as far as possible to get to West Virginia for the next pit stop before heading to see some community theater in Virginia, because why not? Why not? Who knows what I'm going to be seeing on this trip, but I'm so glad that you're here for the journey. My name is Kate. I love talking about theater because theater is life, and welcome to the Great Theater Road Trip. Currently here at the American Cave Museum in Cave City, Kentucky. And guess what they have in the museum? Here's an entire exhibit on Floyd Collins, who was trapped just a few short miles from here. We have newspapers from 1925 during the media circus surrounding Floyd Collins's entrapment. I love how they incorporate lyrics from the musical throughout this exhibit. Now, this is not a song from the show. Somebody play this and tell me what this song is. It is wild how much of an impact Floyd Collins' story had on cave tourism, especially considering, at least in the musical, was his goal. And so, essentially he did that, but at what cost? More incredible 1925 vintage newspapers. Here is a look at his story. Really cool. And a little bit more about the cave wars of Kentucky and the rise of tourism here. Here we are at the entrance of the cave, which is literally just right down the stairs. That's the museum right up there. We're just going down all of these stairs right now. So many stairs. It is very slippery.
Going down the stairs, we gotta go back up those though.
This is incredible.
It is 96 feet long, 45 feet high. And as you make your way across it, it moves.
There's a little hole down there that just opened up after some flooding.
Alright, so this area has those steps there, has no steps, but it's just a nice walkway all the way onto those stairs over there.
Yeah, it's just a steep right there to the right, and then we got steps at the next.
This is huge.
Shows how big this room
It keeps going down
Now,
off
there
that
is one
cliff.
measurement of this room that is not so big. It is that lovely ceiling. As that ceiling is 35 feet thick.
There's a bat right there.
Right there.
Cute.
That is Nugget the tricolor bat.
And now we go back. And here's the base. That piece of machinery right there used to be a part of a pump that would pump water to the city above. There was so many stairs right there at the end, but we made it. We did not get stuck in a cave today. That was a very cool tour. Took way longer than expected. People kept asking so many questions, but it was very cool. Loved it. A lot of stairs. And they have historic brochures to both this cave and Crystal Cave, which is the other one. Now I do want to make another stop here near Cave City before going to the theater, and it's gonna be tight to get out of this parking spot. We're just gonna go forward. Screw it. But yeah, it is going to be very tight to get there because I am over an hour away and a time change away from the theater right now. So hopefully I make it. I'm supposed to meet my friend at 6:15, but I'm currently gonna get to my next stop at 4:02, and hopefully it takes me like less than 20 minutes once I'm there, because it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get there. But yeah, we're cutting it close. We're cutting it close. That's okay. I believe we can make this stop, and it's gonna be worth it. That cave was so fascinating because they said there's like 11 miles of mapped out cave systems down there. I showed you there's like a hole that just got uncovered after some rains, and so they're now exploring that because they have people that will go down into the caves and map out anytime there's new passageways that are discovered. And it's actually headed towards over here, which is where the Loves is, here on Interstate 65. And there's another cave system over here, and so if the two end up connecting, that would be huge. And they do think that all of the caves underneath this area do connect, that there's like miles and miles of cave systems, and that you could probably get from one to another. They just have to discover it. So very, very cool. Could it ever be me? I need big, large passageways like the one we had today. But they did say that even if there's a 10%, if there's anything greater than a 10% chance of rain, you cannot go down and map out the caves. In fact, you'll lose your license if you do that because of how dangerous it is if the cave floods. And they actually just had their worst flood this last spring. There was a huge flood, and they have markers for how high the water goes up in the cave, and it was the largest flood ever on record, and the only one that even got close before was in 2018. No, 2021, and then there was another one that was a little lower in 2018. So it does not flood that often, but the cave was closed for 9 days this spring after the rains, and it went basically all the way up to the top of the stairs at the entrance, which was a lot of stairs. Yeah, not gonna lie, this is a gorgeous road, but this is one of the scariest roads I've driven on. I do not know what to do if another car shows up heading in the opposite direction. But stunning view! And we made it to Mammoth Cave Baptist Church. And here we have Floyd Collins. Here we have Floyd, and then you have Andy and Mary Jane. And this church is actually one of the few structures still standing before this turned into a national park. So it's kind of the only structure out here. There we go. Okay, so far we have not run into any other cars. It's pretty empty. There was another group at the cemetery, but nobody else is going there right now, which is great because I truly don't know how I would let a car pass me. And I have in fact driven off the road once already, so good times. Cows! There's cows everywhere! I don't know if you can see them. And we made it inside the Kentucky Center. And here we are in the Kentucky Center. Look at this theater space. It's giving Amundsen, but smaller. here's the front of the theater, and this is gorgeous. So got out of Water for Elephants, which was great. Unfortunately, it looks like that is in fact a bum tire. My alarm went back on and it was down in the 20s for PSI. It should be at 38. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get it replaced. Though I have been driving on it all day today and all day yesterday. So it's a very slow leak, but it is in fact a bad tire now. I'm gonna try to drive as much as I can on it tonight after I fill it up. Poor Elsa. Hopefully she gets me to West Virginia tomorrow. West Virginia and Virginia, we're going to both. Good morning in Kentucky. I think we just passed Lexington, so I did not get as far as I wanted to. But it is so early, it is so cold. And going to drive to my first stop in West Virginia today that I'm very excited about. That is about 4 hours away still. So I'll get there around noon. And then I just got confirmed for my show tonight, which we are going to go see Crimes of the Heart in a courthouse in the middle of nowhere, Virginia, which I'm very excited about. Just spoke with the director. So yeah, I love getting to meet random people across the country who tell me about theater that I end up going and seeing. So in case you haven't watched part one, I met these lovely women in the Guthrie Cemetery when we were seeing Elmer McCurdy's grave in Oklahoma. And one of the women connected me with this gentleman in Virginia who is directing a production of Crimes of the Heart by Beth Henley in a courthouse in Independence, Virginia. So that's where we're headed today. And tonight's their opening night with Beth Henley in this very small rural community, which I love. I love. Theater is truly everywhere, including Independence, Virginia, where we're going today. But first, a pit stop. Just stopped for a quick breakfast in West Virginia at Tudor's Biscuit World, which I'm very excited about. There seems to be a lot of these and they have very good reviews online. And I think they're only in West Virginia, or at least in this part of the South. Also, it started last night in Kentucky, but I've officially gotten to the point where like everybody has a Southern accent, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And I go to the South all the time because I go to Atlanta, but everybody from Atlanta doesn't have accents anymore because so many of them are transplants, which is fascinating to me because when I went as a kid, everybody had an accent. But now they don't. Anyway, so this is a biscuit place. We have hash brown rounds. Oh, so golden, perfection. Delicious. And then I got the Duke, which there's so many different sandwich names. I was a little bit overwhelmed, but this one seemed to have a lot on it, so I got it. It's cheese, egg, bacon, hash brown. I don't know. I don't think there's a sauce on here. I'll have to look it up at some point, but there's the inside. Looks delicious. And of course, a biscuit. That's good. Oh, that biscuit is so good. This was the perfect stop. The cheese is literally just a slice of American, so that's kind of probably the weakest part, but it's real good. It's real good. Water for Elephants on tour was such a pleasant surprise. I was really surprised by how much better I liked it on tour. And Water for Elephants is a show that I have now seen 5 times somehow. And when I first saw it in Atlanta, I was not a fan at all. I was not a fan. I was surprised that they decided to transfer it to Broadway as fast as they did. I did not think it was ready. And when I saw it on Broadway, I liked it considerably more. And I think part of that too is just like knowing what to expect, knowing what my issues with it were. But I still thought there were moments of the show that just did not work for me. I think Wild is just not a good song. But I really like the tour. The cast is great. They've really tightened it up. The tour is 20 minutes shorter than the show was on Broadway. And the pacing is so much better. They've cut full scenes. There was a sequence with the trio in a speakeasy while they were on the road, and that entire scene has been cut. And for the better. There was all of the cuts I did not miss at all. And even while some of the staging of the musical numbers has changed, I think a lot of that is to adjust the circus acts for the new performers that are on the tour, and also to make the tour sustainable for doing it on the road. But at the same time, some of the songs were shortened, and I think it greatly improved the songs in context of the show. Wild, they cut full lines out of about half of the second verse they've cut. And because of that, the pacing of it feels a lot more like what I want from that song, right? This is a song of these two people finally coming together, and it should have that like frenzied nature to it. And I think it does so now, more so on tour than it did in its original iteration. So little changes like that I think this story just works a lot better for me. And I think usually when I go see a show more than once, my issues with the show initially start to become less of issues because I'm more used to them. They don't take me out of the show as much, so I can appreciate things that I didn't notice the first time. For the most part, especially if I didn't like a show, I like it better each time I go see it. So, and that was very much the case with Water for Elephants. And this cast, really, really talented. I absolutely loved them. I thought they had great chemistry with each other. So there you go. I'm really glad I went and saw that because I wasn't sure what I was going to see last night. And that ended up being the right choice. And I got to see my friend Jill again. So there you go. All right, let's get to the next location, shall we? Here at the next detour of my road trip, which is the Lost World Caverns in Lewisburg, West Virginia. This is allegedly where Bad Boy was discovered. We are in at least the entrance to the cave. This one is self-guided. And right now it's just this large tunnel. Dun, dun, dun. And we made it to the cave. Oh my gosh. It is a guided path. It's almost like a museum, except that it's a cave. This is so cool. My apologies to Mr. Collins, but this is definitely the superior cave. Oh my gosh. And I really like that this is self-guided, so you can kind of take as long as you want, basically. I swear, every single corner that I turn, it just gets even cooler. Are you kidding me? Wow. I hope this looks as cool on camera as it does in person, because this is incredible. I really have not gone that far yet. That's the entrance over there. This is cool. This one has stopped growing, so you can actually touch it and see what it feels like. It's very smooth. Wow. I love the way that they've lit these formations. Got to the top of the trail, and wait, there's even more. This is so cool. Wow. At the end of the large cavern, you can go down this path. This is, I believe, one way in, one way out. Once you get through that low tunnel, you get to another little loop that goes through this cavern. They also do a wild cave expedition that's a 4-hour-long tour with an expert that'll take you like actually crawling through a cave system. I don't know where the entrance to it is. I imagine it's somewhere over here. But that's very cool. I mean, it may just be up there. I definitely think this is the thumbnail. Here's this really creepy wishing well. It's so dark, it's hard to even see how far it goes. We're back in the main cavern now. Here is the natural entrance of the cave. So this is how the original explorers got in. And it is all the way up there. Oh my gosh. You can kind of see. That is crazy. Can you imagine seeing a hole and being like, I'm just gonna go in there? Not another dead cow. And the rent is overdue. If I had to climb down this ladder to get down here, you could not have even paid me to do it. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness for technology. But wow, it would have been worth the views. And we made it to the last formation. What an incredible view. You know what? That was worth it. That was worth it. I really, really liked that. Especially because it's all self-guided, so you can take as long as you want. Or as little as you want. Freaking cool. It is pretty wet and muddy down here, so definitely don't wear super nice shoes. But my shoes are still mostly white, so, you know. Now we gotta climb the stairs back up. And here's the full map of the cave. There's the section that we went into, and then everything else. I imagine that's the 4-hour tour. And of course, okay, made it to Independence. Super cute little town. I'm a little early. I got about an hour, so I'm gonna see if I can grab a quick bite to eat. There are no sidewalks here. Also, it was the most gorgeous ride over here. These roads, stunning, and the leaves are changing. I wish I had a way to record the road a little better, because truly the most stunning views on the way over here. I think the place that I'm going to is that fancy building over there. I think that's the historic courthouse, and then I am parked there, which is, I think, the new courthouse, maybe. And I hope I'm okay to park where I'm parked. There's no signs anywhere that say no parking. No signs, no sidewalks. We're in like small town, and I love it. I always talk about how you can find theater everywhere, and it's true. It's true, because we are in this tiny town, and they're gonna do a production of a play in a courthouse. Okay, so here's Main Street. Walked pretty much all of it, and it does look like it looks like there's mostly just sit-down restaurants. A couple cafes are closed, so I don't think I'm eating before this show, which starts in about 50 minutes. But I should be okay, and should be able to eat afterwards. All right. I still don't see anybody, but I think the show's in here. I honestly don't know. I don't see signs for anything. Oh yeah, no, this definitely seems like it. Such a gorgeous building. It's just up these stairs. All right, and here we are inside. This used to be the courthouse, and now it's a theater. This is incredible.
Where did you get the inspiration for this one?
I think it was my grandfather had been lost in the woods. He's from Hazelhurst. And he'd fallen off his horse, and his horse came back without him. And everybody from my family came to look for him, and people from all across the state were looking for him. And finally they found him, you know, and he was okay. He may have had a slight stroke. But I wanted to write a play about a family getting back together because of a kind of mishap or some trauma, because everybody kind of showed up when my grandfather fell off that horse, and from different places in strange ways with different feelings about other people in the family. And it seemed like a kind of potent situation.
I always wondered
you have such very different people in this play. They're very strong individuals. What's your favorite aspect about each of the characters? What do you like best about them?
They all have hope, you know, even being in, you know, the hard situations. And that's what keeps the kind of story moving forward, is their kind of hope. And each of them has a secret that the other sisters don't know until the end of the play. So by the end of the play, they all know much more who the other sisters are. But I think that's one thing that distances you from your family members when you're keeping kind of big secrets, and yet you're pretending to be so close.
How did it feel to be doing a play written by Beth Henley and the playwright sitting all of you can speak of it.
It was the first night too, and you did so well.
It was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's like she knows. I didn't even know what she looked like before we got here, so I wouldn't know if it was her.
You should have kept it quiet.
He wouldn't do it.
I actually, that's the truth, because I said that there's an article out with Beth in it 2 Wednesdays ago in the newspaper, the Gale Ass Gazette. He said, no, don't show it to us. Don't want to see it.
I got a question. Are you all from Southwest Virginia or Northwest North Carolina, or do we have these necklaces close by? Mm-hmm. So you didn't fly in from Hollywood? Okay, thank you.
I'm from Canada. I did ask them halfway through, could he double my salary for the next show, and he said, absolutely. 0 times 0 is 0.
Beth, are you writing your play right now? Are you in the process?
I am. It's kind of nerve-wracking because it's something I've never done before. It's more of a performance piece. I'm working with a choreographer, Martha Clark, and it's kind of a devised piece. We're working with an animator and a filmmaker. It's based on an artist, Henry Darger, who's kind of an outside artist. And anyway, it's going to be done in February in New York at the Venue Theater. But I'm writing it right now and I'm very panicked.
Good morning from Virginia. What an excellent side quest going to the courthouse. It's this little community theater that does 1 to 2 shows a year there, and they come from different cities around the area. Some of them drive up to 45 minutes to go to the theater for rehearsal, which is incredible. And it's all community theater, so volunteer based. And it was such a lovely production of Crimes of the Heart. And Beth Henley was there, and because she's connected to somebody in the community, and everyone was so invested in the show. They asked some really great questions afterwards for both Beth and the cast. And yeah, I love getting to see communities come together and put on a piece of theater just for the love of telling stories. And that is absolutely this community in Independence, Virginia. So I'm so glad I found out about that, because community theater is a little harder for me to find, but that was exactly what I needed. And now I think I'm going to end up continuing the community theater trend, because I am currently right outside of Roanoke. I'm at a rest stop outside of Roanoke, Virginia, not to be confused with Roanoke, the Lost Colony. And the plan originally today was to go to DC, and then I failed to get rush tickets this morning. So I think I'm going to try again tomorrow. And I'm a little exhausted from all of the driving, and Roanoke is like 20 minutes away. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is hanging out in that city, catching up on some stuff. I need to clear out the memory on this camera too, so I need to start editing last week, and maybe doing some laundry, and then going to the gym and showering. So I don't think I want to try to drive another 5 hours today. 3 hours. I'm actually a little close. But I was looking up theater in Roanoke, and there's a couple community theater productions happening right now. One is The Play That Goes Wrong, which I would love to see a community theater version of. And the other is Monster Songs, which is a song cycle by Rob Rakicki that I really love that cast recording. So I think I'm going to try to go see that and make a 2-show day out of it in Roanoke, Virginia. And I'm kind of just loving this area, especially with all the leaves changing. So that is the plan today. Take a little bit of a slower day and then head to DC tomorrow. It is finally time. We made it to our first Bojangles of the trip. Very excited. In case you don't know Bojangles, it is a southern food chain. I did pass my first one in Kentucky, but it was off the beaten path, and then by the time I was ready to eat after the show, it was closed because they close at like freaking 9 o'clock. But it is supposed to be some of the best chicken tenders in the nation. We'll be the judge of that. I have been to a Bojangles before in an airport, and sometimes the airport food is a little bit different, but the airport Bojangles was very good. So if this is even the same as that, oh, also, this is how you do sauces. That's huge. But yeah, if Bojangles is, oh my gosh, there's a biscuit. Yes. And I just got fries. You can get different fixins, but I wanted to try their fries today, so we did that. But next time I go, I'll probably get the mac and cheese. Oh gosh, where do I put this? Toss in the box. The ranch is really good. The fries are really good. Here's their tender. That's really good. That's much better than it was in the airport. Oh yeah. All right, I get it. The texture is like perfect. I'm a huge fan of Raising Cane's, like the texture of their chicken, but their chicken tenders have no flavor to them. This has flavor. Yeah, these are really good, and they have pretty much equivalent texture. It's a little crunchier than a Raising Cane tender, but it's still soft on the inside. But it's the flavor. You get more flavor with their bread. Yeah. Yeah, Bojangles wins. Sorry. I need one in Colorado now. I spent way too much time at the gym, but we made it to Play That Goes Wrong. There we go. We just made it. They are doing their pre-show right now. Also shocked, there's a second story on the set. I thought I was getting the first story version. And here's a look at their entire season. It is almost done this year, but their last show is The Best Christmas Pageant Ever in December. I'm obsessed with this ongoing theme of all of the goats. And here's their 2026 season, including Into the Woods. That's a great season. There are fake posters from other Cornley Drama Society shows, and they have this ongoing theme of goats. All of the bios have goats mentioned in them. Here's a Goat Loose poster. There's also Moistness Off. No curtain call for that one because I did not want to spoil it in case you haven't seen The Play That Goes Wrong, but that was incredible. They had everything that the now off-Broadway production does. There were also some really fun choices made that were different from the original production, which I love getting to see theaters have fun with it. Play That Goes Wrong is kind of one of those perfect community theater shows, similar to A Noise Is Off or Play On, right? But it was just so much fun, and the audience was loving it. There is a one-act version of the show that high schools do that also only has one story of the set, and I am surprised that they didn't use the one story set for this production, but it was really cool. I'm very curious how they build the set for it. Because I would have assumed that it would have taken a lot of budget, but they did it. They did like literally every gag in the original production, so it was awesome. I am going to find some place to eat, and then I think I'm gonna go do Monster Songs tonight, which is a short little song cycle, and then head to DC and probably sleep around the DC area tonight. And we made it back to Roanoke for the show at Showrunners. This is such a cute little space. It looks like it may have been a church before, which would not be my first community theater in a former church. And here's a look at the inside of the theater space. We have a full set too, which is pretty cool. Was not expecting one for a song cycle. Well, rejoice, rejoice. We officially got tickets to Damn Yankees tonight. So I was successful in the rush today. Right now I'm waiting to see if my mom wants to go see Fremont Avenue, which is the other show at Arena Stage. And then I could do that for the matinee. She has 4 minutes to get back to me. I don't think she is. She's either sleeping or she's doing something else right now. I am at least going to go see Damn Yankees today, which I'm very, very, very excited about. And then I guess I start driving up to New York today. I don't know, it feels early. I may have stayed at this rest stop a little too long because I just realized I have to find parking at Arena Stage. It looks like the Arena Stage parking lot is $35. Which is a little more than I want to pay for parking. It also looks like it's very limited, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to find parking. Right now, my ETA to get to the theater is 1 p.m., right after 1 p.m., but I also still need to get gas at some point. So going to a Wawa's on the way there, we'll probably grab something to eat. So, I thought I had more time to just kind of chill at the rest stop, but now it is 10:30 and I'm running late. What else is new? What else is new? I kind of wish I had come to DC yesterday, but I am really glad I got to see those 2 shows at the community theaters. Play That Goes Wrong was a blast, an absolute blast. Monster Songs was ambitious. I love that they use live music because oftentimes when you see shows at community theater, they're using canned music because it's a little easier, especially with the sound system. And I thought the sound in this theater at Showtimers was excellent. I could hear everyone. The mic amplification was done really well. The band was really, really good. Honestly, a highlight. So I get why they wanted to use like a rock score. One of the challenges with community theater though, is I think you really need to pick material that highlights your community. So like if you have strong singers, a song cycle is a great choice. If you have strong storytellers, I think, plays are fantastic. But you want to make sure that you're highlighting your community. And I think that the highlight of this production was absolutely the band. You could tell some of their performers were really struggling with the rock score. I kind of wish they'd chosen something a little more traditional because a lot of their voices felt like it would fit with traditional musical theater a little better. And I really loved every time they got to do storytelling in the show. However, because Monster Songs and the way that it's written and the fact that it's a song cycle, there isn't a lot of storytelling. They don't really get to interact with each other a lot, and that's when they really shone. So I kind of wish that the material chosen for this particular theater was more of like a traditional theater piece. But it was very ambitious, and I'm really glad that I got to see a production of Monster Songs. I don't personally feel like I ever need to see one again. I think to me it works better as a concept album, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw it, and I love supporting local theaters. And I think, I would love to see some other work there because it's such a cool space. And I think tech-wise, it was really, really well done. Very simple set, obviously, because it was a song cycle. They did some cool makeup effects because all of the characters are different monsters. And so it was subtle makeup, not like a Halloween house. It was very subtle, but I thought it was effective. And then the sound, incredible sound. I think The Play That Goes Wrong, perfect example of a show being done at a community theater that really highlights that theater's strengths. I thought it played really well to all of the actors' strengths. They got to really have fun with it and make those characters their own. And you could tell that they have people in their community that are very good at building sets because the set was very incredibly well done. They also did a really great job of interacting with the audience during intermission and before the show, which is another thing that's really important to The Play That Goes Wrong. A lot of heart was put into that show, and I think that's community theater at its best, when you find a piece that really highlights the performers and the artists in your community. So there you go. But I'm glad I got to see both of those. However, I wish I'd gone to DC yesterday because unfortunately my mom is in the DC area, but she's busy today, so I'm not going to get to see her. If I had known this, I would have gone yesterday to go see her. We could have seen a show together. So unfortunately, I am going to solo these 2 shows in DC, but I did manage to get Today Ticks Rush tickets to both Fremont Avenue, which is the world premiere play currently playing at Arena Stage's smaller space. I think it's the space where A Wrinkle in Time was. And then, of course, Damn Yankees, the revised Damn Yankees playing in their larger In the Round space. So I'm glad I get to spend the day at Arena Stage. I just have to figure out where I'm going to put this car. That's the downside of driving, is you have to park. The Rush tickets are both under 40, so I think it was $70 or $65 for both shows. So $30 for Fremont Avenue, $35 for Damn Yankees on Today Ticks. I would like to spend less than $100 today, but if I have to spend $30 on parking, but I'm willing to walk, right? And DC has a pretty good public transit system, so I can park far away and then take the line in, because it stops pretty near Arena Stage. But yeah, if we're not getting there until an hour before, I'm definitely limited on what I can do. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. It's not a theater adventure without some almost missing a show or being worried about missing a show. And to be honest, I'm still getting into town right now 55 minutes before. So even if I stop for 20 minutes getting gas and food at Wawa's, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll still have 30 minutes. I was gonna get a sandwich and then I realized it's breakfast. So I went with a breakfast burrito, which could be risky because I'm from the West Coast and we just do breakfast burritos better. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Oh, it's so hot. It's very simple, but it works. It does not have hash browns, which frankly is required for a good breakfast burrito, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's certainly better than I was expecting. But people just can't do breakfast burritos like the West Coast. I'm sorry, East Coast. All right, it is currently almost 11, and it looks like our new ETA to the theater is 1:18. So let's go. This entire road is giving like Thomas Kincaid puzzle painting. What is this? This is gorgeous. All right, found a parking spot here on the street. I think I'm gonna park here. So we're gonna go to the theater and meet my mom, who ended up making it to the matinee. We're actually parked right next to the metro stop, which is, I don't know, over there somewhere. Oh, there it is. And it's good to be back at Arena Stage. I can't believe I haven't been to this theater once until this year, and now this is my third trip in what, 4 months? Of course, we must pay homage to the Tony Awards for its regional theater. Oh, and look who it is. Hello, hello. And here we are at show number 1. Here's the view from the Rush seat. Now, my mother got an in-person Rush ticket, which is $10 cheaper. Should have just gotten them here at the door, but she's in the same row in the center section. Had to come back to the falafel place to try the shawarma wrap today. All right, we got our seat for Damn Yankees. Here's where the Today Ticks Rush was for that, right here on the aisle. Once again, my mom ended up getting a last minute in-person Rush, and she once again has better seats than me in the front row of the south section. I don't think you can see her. If you see, there she is with her little ponytail. So yeah, in-person Rush is the way to go. It's a little riskier, but it is the way to go. Also loving the early 2000s pre-show playlist we have for the new updated time period of Damn Yankees. We do have an understudy on today for the role of Ito. Also didn't realize that we're getting updated lyrics by Lynn Ahrens herself. That's exciting. I do know that they changed a lot because of the new setting, but I didn't realize that they rewrote some of the songs. They do have very cute merch for Damn Yankees. There's a poster for Fremont Avenue, but they really went all out for Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees last night, and it was pouring rain. So my priority was to survive the night and get to a rest stop. So I'm here at the Maryland Welcome Center, which is this really cute little rest stop. Look at this. What a lovely place to sleep to the sound of the falling rain. Today is Monday, so I did go ahead and book a hotel room in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is where Hershey Park is. Hershey Park is not open today. I did absolutely check. They are in their Halloween hours, so they're only open on the weekends and late at night, so that's not happening. But I am going to go ahead and drive to Harrisburg because it's way cheaper, and they have all the cheap gas stations up there if we get away from the coast. So that's where I'm headed today to get some work done, and then I'm probably gonna end up in New York tomorrow. It was also raining so hard last night that I completely forgot to film my thoughts on the shows. And I also didn't film it the day after, so you may notice I'm in a different outfit. Ignore that. But I really loved both Damn Yankees and Fremont Avenue. Arena Stage puts on really quality productions. Even when I don't love the show itself, like with A Wrinkle in Time, I really loved just the overall production, the cast, the way that it's new material or looking at old material in a new way that I find so interesting. And, Arena Stage just consistently, for all 4 shows that I've seen there, well, 3.5 shows that I've seen there, they have knocked it out of the park. And yesterday was no exception. So Damn Yankees is an updated version of the Golden Age musical. So now, instead of taking place in the 50s, it takes place in the 2000s. The team is now the Orioles instead of the Washington Nationals. And part of that is because during the new time period that they've set it in, Washington did not have a team, and the Orioles just make sense. So they've changed it to the Orioles. They've updated some of the book. They've the ensemble itself feels really fresh. There was like diversity in the ensemble that would be a little harder to pull off in the 1950s. And the choreography was just so incredible. It was so much fun to watch. I really loved the cast, but especially Jordan Donica. I think Jordan Donica, completely underrated performer. He should be in more things. Really loved him. Really loved Quentin Darrington, who I've seen. I saw him in 3 Summers of Lincoln, really loved him in that, and loved him in Damn Yankees. Another underrated performer. I'm glad I got to see that. I'm glad I got to see my mom, which is also probably why I forgot to film. And then my mom was also able to join me for Fremont Avenue, as you saw. And that play, Fremont Avenue, honestly, maybe one of my picks for at least a finalist spot for the Pulitzer. I thought it was brilliant. Fremont Avenue is a multi-generational play of this single family that lives in this house on Fremont Avenue in Southern California, and Bradley Gibson plays the central male figure in each of the generations. He plays 3 different characters depending on which decade we're in, and it starts in, I believe, the 60s, then takes us into the 90s, and then finally in the 2010s, I believe. So we see these 3 different characters played by Bradley Gibson, and as the generations go on, you see the effect that the previous generation has on the current generation. And finally, when we get to the end of the play, we get to see all 3 of these men on stage together. And when I tell you the amount of character work that Bradley Gibson is doing on that stage to not only play 3 distinct characters, but also play 3 distinct characters that when the older actors come on stage, you know exactly who they are, because it's like you're seeing the same person. His acting in this is so good. It's so good. And I loved the writing. I loved the richness of these characters. I loved the journey that it took us on. And the play absolutely sticks the landing. I adored the ending of this play. It made me cry. And that's, sometimes all you can hope for in theater. But I really loved the show. I hope it has a life outside of the DC run. But it is a co-production with South Coast Rep. It's going to South Coast Rep next year. In, I believe, March or April, and I hope more people get to see it. I hope it ends up going to Broadway, and I hope it's in consideration for the Pulitzer, because it's really good. I'm really glad I went and saw that. So a very good day of theater in DC, and I'm glad I'm taking the day off today. And we made it to our home for the day. Super, super cheap quality inn here in Enola. But, you know, it gets the job done. Here's a quick tour. There's the bathroom. Again, very simple. Love the toilet seat's chipping. And then we have the room. Very simple, though it does look like the mattress is caving in. So, you know, it's dark. So we're going to open up the blinds. It will get the job done of giving us a place to stay for the day. Oh, wrong way. And, and you know, there's kind of, once you get past the street, there's a little bit of a view over there. In a great update, I did get a new headlight from an AutoZone that's literally across the street. So I just have to pop it in probably tomorrow or before I leave. But yeah, this will be a nice place to break. If you did make it all this way, thank you so much for watching. My name is Kate and I love talking about theater because theater is life. And this has been part 2 of our theater adventure road trip. Next, we will go to the tri-state area starting tomorrow. So please, if you don't already, like and subscribe and follow along. Thank you for watching.